Approximately 35% of the residents in the province of Italy during the reign of Augustus were slaves. Slavery played a significant role in maintaining the Roman social hierarchy and was a critical aspect of their economy, particularly in the fields of agriculture and industry. Slaves in cities held various occupations, including professionals such as teachers, doctors, cooks, and accountants, although many were limited to unskilled labor. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe to always be notified when a new video comes out on the channel and help the community grow. The proportion of slaves in regions outside of Italy was generally between 10 to 20%. Although slavery declined during the 3rd and 4th centuries, it continued to be a part of Roman society until the 5th century. However, with the decline of urban centers and the breakdown of the complex economic system that sustained slavery, it gradually vanished in the 6th and 7th centuries. Roman slavery was not based on racial discrimination. The main source of slaves during the Republican expansion was prisoners of war from various ethnic groups. The conquest of Greece brought many highly educated and skilled slaves to Rome, and slaves could also be acquired through markets and pirate raids. Additionally, some individuals became slaves through child abandonment or self-enslavement due to poverty. The verners were slaves born to a slave mother and raised in their owner's household. They were considered part of the family and had a certain level of societal protection, even though they lacked legal protection. An owner who mistreated or neglected their verners was looked down upon and could even be the biological father of these slaves. The laws governing Roman slavery were complex. Under Roman law, slaves were considered property and lacked legal personhood. As a result, slaves were subject to physical punishment, sexual exploitation, torture, and execution, which was prohibited for citizens. In legal terms, slaves could not be considered violated as this was a crime only applicable to free individuals, and a rapist of a slave would only face charges for material damages from the owner. Slaves were not allowed to marry, although some unions were recognized and slaves could wed if both were freed. Technically, slaves were not able to own property, but they could have access to individual funds or accounts, peculium, to manage their businesses and other slaves if they showed aptitude for commerce. Within a household or workshop, there was often a hierarchy among slaves, with one managing the rest. Successful slaves had the opportunity to earn enough money to buy their freedom or be freed in recognition of their services. The practice of manumission became so widespread that a law was introduced in the 2nd century BC limiting the number of slaves an owner could free. If you want to know more content about stories, subscribe to the channel and comment in the comments on which topic you would like to watch. Following the Servile Wars, legislation aimed to reduce the threat of slave rebellions by limiting the size of work groups and pursuing fugitives. Over time, slaves gained increasing legal protection, including the right to file complaints against their masters. A purchase contract could include a clause specifying that the slave could not be used for prostitution, as a significant portion of prostitutes were slaves. The growth of the trade in castrated slaves during the end of the 1st century AD prompted legislation prohibiting the castration of a slave against their will. Freed. Unlike the Greek city-states, Rome allowed freed slaves to become citizens, including the right to vote. 145. A slave who achieved libertas was called a freedman, libertas, liberated person, fem. Libertas, in relation to his former master, who then became his patron, Latin, patronus. However, the two parties continued to have customary and legal obligations towards each other, The social class of freedmen was called libertines, libertini, although later the terms freedman and libertine, libertinus, were used interchangeably. 146. A libertine could not hold office in public administration or in the state priesthood, although he could exercise priesthood in the imperial cult. A freedman could not marry a woman from a family of the senatorial order or legitimately be part of that order himself, although during the early days of the empire freedmen occupied top positions in the administration. Despite these protections, slavery remained a widespread and integral part of Roman society. Slaves performed a variety of tasks, from manual labor in agriculture and industry to skilled professions in the cities. The source of slaves came from various places, including prisoners of war, child abandonment, self-enslavement, and the capture by pirates. Roman slavery was not based on racial discrimination, and slaves came from diverse ethnic groups. Although slavery declined in the later centuries, it persisted until the 5th century and gradually disappeared over the following 2 centuries with the decline of urban centers and the complex economic system that supported it. Roman slavery was a complex and economically crucial institution that impacted the social structure and daily life of the Roman Empire. I hope you found this information informative and interesting. If you did, please feel free to leave a like and comment. I would love to hear your thoughts and feedback. Thank you for reading. We would love to hear your thoughts and comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more updates and content. Thank you in advance for your participation. Best regards.